Greetings and welcome to another video. It's Saturday, 14th of June 2025, and yeah, I'm in Coalbrookdale today. It's an absolutely gorgeous day to be in Coalbrookdale and doing some exploring around some of the nature trails. With that in mind, I've returned to a location I made a video at a few years ago because I was curious about what the place looks like nowadays compared to how it was in my previous video, and yeah, definitely worth checking out today, to be honest. With that in mind, let's find out where we are. This main road we're on, I believe, is called Dale View, and if we were to explore this road in the direction I'm looking at right now, we'll go further into Coalbrookdale, and then after that I think we'll find ourselves in places like Lawley. However, if we were to turn around and instead travel in the direction that I'm now looking at, we'll find ourselves eventually in Ironbridge. But what I want to look at this afternoon in this video is immediately to my right here. The Upper Forge Pool Sluices. Now, as you can see on this information sign, there's a map of Coalbrookdale and it shows various nature walks that you can use to explore the different nature reserves and the different parts of Coalbrookdale. We've seen and explored some of these places. in previous videos, and I'm thinking about maybe returning to them again sometime in the future, but we'll see how it goes. In the meantime, let's have a look at the Upper Forge Pool Sluices. The Upper Forge Pool and Lower Furnace Pool were filled in during the expansion of the Coalbrookdale Company. By the 20th century, both pools had been reduced to a series of culverted watercourses. In places, these are 10 metres below the current ground level. The sluice gates at Upper Forge Pool are the only remaining features of this pool. The gates are located on the line of the dam and were the mechanism for controlling the flow of water downstream. When more water was required downstream, the sluice gates would be raised, allowing the water to run down into the culvert under the road and down the dale. The overall arrangement is very similar to that of the Upper Furnace Pool sluices, which you can see further upstream. The stones below the sluice gate are a favourite feeding place for grey wagtails. And as you can see here, we've got a couple of photos. I think that picture on the top left is what the place looks like nowadays, while the two pictures at the bottom reflect how this place used to look. And of course, there's more to this place. There's more to this place than this signpost telling us about where we are right now. So if you bear with me, we'll just take a few steps in front of me and have a look at where we are. So here we are And I think in the background you can already hear the sound of rushing water going beneath the road. Let's take a closer look. We've got a locked gate here, which obviously I can understand why this gate is locked, because no doubt it's going to be very dangerous for people to be running around in. And like I say, you can hear the water flowing down. Now, the last time I was here, I believe I explored a footpath around here. I can't remember if that path included, I can't remember if the path I explored was this path in front of me, and I can't remember if it was up this staircase, but we might have a look at that in a few minutes. In the meantime, I'm just gonna have a brief look up this staircase here, up these steps. Ugh. Okay, it's dead end basically, doesn't really go anywhere. I'm not climbing up that way, that's for sure. However, that's a good view. Okay, so this staircase is a dead end, which means the path that I explored the first time I was here must have been this way. And yeah, it was an interesting path to explore this way, but if I remember correctly, it ultimately leads to a dead end, basically. Yeah. Leads to a dead end, so I had to come back all the way along back to where I am now. So I'm not going to explore this path today, to be honest. Well, to be fair, it would be interesting. In fact, let's have a look at it. Let's be silly and have a look at it. Yeah, I'm pretty certain this path will still lead to a dead end, basically. But I think it's worth exploring this way all the same. Alright, let's fight my way through these bushes. Good thing I've got a pair of full-length trousers on, to be honest, yeah. While the weather might be good weather for shorts, I know from experience, if you're going to follow a path like this, wearing shorts is a bad idea. You get stung far too much. Let's see how this works out. Alright, we've got a couple of logs, fallen trees to step over, so got to be careful about that. Okay, a lot of fallen tree stuff going on here. Yeah, it may not be the best idea to follow this path, but I just want to remember where the dead end to this path is. So a bit further along the path. At the moment, no more major obstacles, but I think it's only a few more yards I can go before I've got no choice but to turn around and go back to where I was at the start of this video. Yeah, here we are. Yeah, here, if you can see properly, this is where the path kind of falls away, basically. And yeah, there's a drop down. The path in front of me drops down quite a bit, and it's a bit of a steep drop. Now, maybe I could go maybe I can go a little bit further, but to be honest, I don't want to. I think at this point, this is a point I'm going to be like, okay, leave it alone. Let's head back to where we were at the start of the video. So yeah, I'll see you in a couple of minutes. In all fairness, it doesn't matter how, well, in my opinion at least, no matter how far along this path you explore, providing that is you want to explore this path, it's a good path to explore. Not too bad. You can either do what I've just done and do the sensible thing, find the spot when you think, okay, leave it alone, turn around and go back, or maybe you can go any further. Depends on how good you are or how confident you feel about exploring unmarked paths like this one. But no, like I said, considering how the drop of the path looks, I think it'd be best idea just to turn around and head back. So yeah, with that in mind, I'll see you in a couple of minutes. So here we are, back where we started. Good time situation. I'm glad I've taken the time to revisit these two places in Coalbrookdale this afternoon. Really good stuff. And anyone watching this video, if you're in a position to do so, then by all means visit Coalbrookdale like I've done today, or like I've done in any of my previous videos around Coalbrookdale. Definitely worth visiting. Otherwise, the local history of Coalbrookdale, and by extension Ironbridge, is filled with some of the most interesting local history about this part of England you'll ever find, in my opinion. So all kinds of interesting stuff going on to explore either on the internet or getting a couple of local history books. Yeah, definitely worth the effort. However you are wanting to learn about places like Coalbrookdale and Ironbridge, definitely worth the effort, in my opinion. On that note, I'm going to finish this video here. Take care of yourselves, be safe. Thank you for watching my videos, I appreciate it. Have a good weekend, and I'll see you all soon in the next video. Take care and goodbye.